All right. What is going on, you guys? This is Blaise over here, the Blue Chip Athletic Club podcast. We're going to go solo today. We got about 15 minutes till dinner is ready, so we're just going to let this thing rip off the tee. A couple of things I want to make sure I promoted. One, we are in January 2026. The Lift the Plane Challenge is live. We can get yourself one of these sweet patches for lifting the weight of the aircraft that I fly in the Coast Guard, 67,241 pounds for your flight suit patch. What it's going to be is squatting the plane. The program details are basically you're going to take your body weight. You'll divide that into that 67,241, and those are the body weight reps that you'll do. So I'm a 200-pound dude. 67,241 divided by 200 gets me 337 reps, rounded up to the nearest rep. So if I did 337 squats in the month of January, tag us and then do it all within our app here. What we'll do is we'll send you your Lift the Plane patch. You'll be able to support that bad boy. And I think we'll be doing this kind of every year. We'll see if we do a January timeframe or not, but we'll get the thing going. Next, all of our sponsors here. A couple of things I want to make sure that I hit on that I've been doing a poor job of recently. Some of the stuff that we use a ton. First Form is a big sponsor here for us. What do? I take chocolate greens from them. We do free samples of that for anybody who's interested. What I'll do is I'll leave that in the show notes here as well. If you guys are interested in trying out the best greens, I mix them into my coffee and add in a French vanilla natural collagen powder as well. Gets me 17 grams of protein and my greens for fruits and veggies, no matter where I am in the U.S., whether I'm traveling for a work trip or home, it is the best. Protein cookies over at Sweet Perfections, Log 10's partners for all of our pilots looking for the best logbook we got. And the rest of them I will leave down here in the show notes. I don't want to keep going. We're already 2 minutes and 20 seconds into this thing, and I want to make sure I don't get yelled at for dinner from the other room. So what I want to talk to you guys about today, well, today's actually January the 5th, but I think I'm going to release this episode on January the 9th, which this year is deemed National Quitters Day. And I wanted to kind of like talk about what that is, ways that you can kind of combat that as we roll into 2026, and then some other, I guess, like key things that I think are important to kind of think about. I'm going to be kind of reading some stuff here as well. So, January 9th, like I said, is National Quitters Day. It's essentially the unofficial holiday where most people abandon New Year's resolutions. It happens on the second Friday in January. So this year is January the 9th. Most of the time, a huge percentage of people have already given up on the goals that they set on the first, especially is going to be around exercise, nutrition, weight loss. And I feel like this pattern tends to go for almost any New Year's resolution. And I'm going to talk through a little bit about some things that I've found be effective for me to be able to continue past National Quitters Day and create a system that's more sustainable for the long haul. What's the good news? The good news is you're not alone in setting a resolution, starting anew. All those things I think are really great. They're motivating. But once you hit this kind of 2-week era or 2-week, I'll call like section of the year, you end up kind of falling off and not really figuring out, hey, what's the reason why? You were relying on motivation for the beginning of the year. That can carry you only so far. And then you really need to fall back on some key guiding principles. So what are some things that we like to do here to be able to help it, whether that's with clients that we work with one-on-one, friends, family members, whatever the thing becomes, because at the end of the day, the momentum is super key. And if you can kind of find that momentum, you're able to kind of carry that throughout your own health and wellness journey, and then be able to kind of move that from other facets of your life as well, whether that's just in health, whether that's in work, whether that's in showing up as a good partner, all of those things. Financial health and well-being, I think, is another piece of that. Maybe your goal is to pay off all of your debt in the year 2026. Well, if you've got $60,000 of credit card debt and by the 9th, you're like, holy shit, I don't know why I'm going to do this, because you decided that you were going to, take your entire paycheck and dump it in on the 1st. You haven't built a sustainable system. You might have got a win early on, but you don't know how to continue going. So this is what we're going to talk about. So step one, or part one, now we'll say step one. Step one that I find really important is we're going to shrink the target. What does that mean? If you're somebody who's talking strictly about training and nutrition, this is like, hey, instead of training every single day, you say, hey, I'm going to train for 2-3 strength training sessions a week. Maybe those are 30 to 40 minutes long. Maybe I'll do some conditioning, whether that's like a long run or a short run on another day, or maybe play some sports. That's what I love to do personally. I love to go out and play some basketball. I've been playing some beach volleyball here down in Florida, which has been great. And then the other things, doing a walk, doing a little bit of mobility when you're sitting around watching TV. Mobility hack that I like to use, although I haven't been able to do it here a bunch because our floor is really hard. It's just sitting on the floor when you watch TV. You'd be amazed how much fidgeting you do. You end up stretching your hips out. There's a reason that it helps kind of improve your hip mobility, improves your leg flexibility. And at the end of the day, you're not going to sit completely stagnant in that whole, I'll call like process of seating or being seated, watching TV. So just another kind of tip that we like to use here over at Blue Chip to help people out. So, what is your target? Let's make it smaller. Let's make it more bite-sized. And then, hey, let's say there's a non-negotiable level of that, a non-negotiable floor, whether that's week to week, day to day, whatever you kind of want to use, is like, hey, maybe it's 10 minutes. So today is a good example. Sometimes I find myself sitting at my desk and I'll be blasting away, doing work, whatever the day becomes. And the day starts to get away from me and I find that I've been there for, 2 hours or so. So something that I found that's been helpful for me is I'm going to set a timer on my phone, or I'll set a bunch of alarms. Maybe they go off every hour. Maybe they go off every, hour and a half. And what that does is remind me to get out away from the desk, go talk to somebody, walk around outside. Maybe I've got pull-up handles that I have mounted to my door. And I'm supposed to do pull-ups every time I pass under the doorway, which you can go that hard if you'd like to. But again, just finding some way to be like, hey, what's the floor? What's the thing that I will never miss, whether that's week to week, day to day. Maybe it's a morning walk with your dog. Find your thing that you can commit to that feels so easy that, the consistent piece of that is really, really important. We talk about precision nutrition is kind of I'll call it credentialing source when it comes to my nutrition certifications. And they say if you're not 90% or greater chance of success when you kind of rate, on a scale of 1 to 10, or I guess 0 to 100, how confident you are that you can do the thing. You need to make a more bite-sized goal. You need to bring the goal down. What that will do is it'll actually help you hit it in the long run. And then anything else is just gravy. Like, let's say you decide that 10 minutes of a walk is your like lowest common denominator from the week from hell. You're sick, blah, blah, blah. All the things happen. The world ends at work. And you're like, yep, I'm going to do a 10-minute walk at some point this week. And maybe that's your thing. If you do anything on top of that, it's just gravy. It's just bonus points. And it's really just going to help improve your momentum, prove that you can commit to something when it's hard. And then believe it or not, before you know it, that 10-minute walk turns into 15, turns into a 10-minute jog, turns into a 15-minute run. And then you start to make even more progress. So shrinking the target is what I'll call step one. Step two is going to be building systems and not relying on willpower. So what does that mean? Motivation alone will only carry you so far. There's not a single person I know. I'll make a pilot analogy. There's nobody that I know who's a Coast Guard pilot who's going to launch without a checklist, without a plan, without checking for weather, without trying to figure out all these other parts of the mission, getting as much information and data as you can, and then falling back on those systems that you have in place to be able to make sure that you're making the best decisions possible. A way that you could fall back on a system is, hey, instead of walking in the gym and then like looking around at the equipment and not knowing what to do, you have a written program, whether that's something that you wrote. ChatGPT, all the other AI engines are awesome at this. I mean, to be honest, like the fitness industry. I don't know if it's ever like truly going to go away, because I think, human connection is important, but we're super fucked when it comes to like trying to figure out like how do you keep up with these things. You could essentially punch in injuries that you have, other things that are happening, and it's going to write you a program. And honestly, what I tell people is, if that's all you're looking for, like, go do that, dude. Like, go make that happen. The difference between us and ChatGPT is that we've got the human connection piece. We have the right tool. We're the carpenter who knows that you need a screwdriver versus pliers. And the AI engines, are not good enough yet, and maybe they one day will be. But that's one way that you can do it. You go in with a written program. Maybe you're able to track what you do. Maybe you write it in a journal. Maybe you have an accountability group. Maybe it's a coaching group. Maybe it's with us. Maybe it's with someone else. Maybe you go to Orange Theory and Betty is there, and Betty texts you on Wednesday and it's like, hey, where were you? We missed you. I thought I'd expect to see you today and you weren't there. And then you're like, man, there's some accountability there. The environment, the systems, all those things will end up carrying you when your willpower is gone, and then helping propel you forward when you do have your willpower and be super motivating there. So build some systems. Don't rely solely on your own willpower to be able to carry you through. Oh boy, here we go. I'll grab some water here. What else can you do? Well, the other thing that you could do is you can hire a coach. I am a coach, and I've got coaches in just about everything that I do. Training. I've got nutrition coaches that have taught me a ton. I've got sleep, stress, and recovery coaches. I have business coaches. I have life coaches and mentors. Everything in my life, I think, I have leaned into coaching, I've leaned into mentorship, and I've leaned into all these things because I don't have all the answers. I still don't have all the answers. I don't think I ever will have all the answers. I think every year I'm on planet Earth, I get dumber somehow. I feel like I'm learning and reading and consuming and trying to understand more and more, but I know less and less. And maybe that's just realizing that the world is so vast and I can't understand everything. That's okay. But leaning into these mentorships, finding the people that live the lifestyle that you want, and being able to relate to them and say, hey, how did you get there? Maybe you meet somebody who retired at 35 and you're like, man, I would really like to retire at 35. How do you lean into that mentorship, lean into that partnership? Ask that person, like, how did they get there? What did they do? Did they, go all in on Bitcoin and maybe have a lucky break? Did they find a sustainable way to buy real estate? How'd they do it? What's the lifestyle? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Ask them, like, hey, would you do anything different if you could have done this now versus before? All these ways that you can lean in to that coaching relationship. Not all of them are going to be paid either. Not everybody's going to charge you for their advice, although sometimes they probably should, and undervalue that, myself probably included. But figuring out, like, hey, how can I leverage this relationship to be able to help improve and help me get beyond this day where everybody, especially with their health and wellness, kind of tends to go to shit. And if you can figure out that key ingredient, which is, that ability to stay persistent, ability to lean into your community, lean into those people and all those other facets of your health, break your goals down, make them sustainable, and you're relying on a system that is effective and works, that is the best way that you're going to be able to make lasting change in your health, push through Quitter's Day, and be able to reach your goals in 2026 as easily as possible. Now, are we at Blue Chip the answer for everybody? Absolutely not. I'm not a person who believes that I can coach every single person. There's sometimes where my ego may say otherwise, but I don't think that's truly the case. I think that there's people that can see much more success. If you're a bodybuilder, with a bodybuilding coach, with somebody who's going to, be able to be there every single day with you, to train with you, to watch your coaching cues, to all these other things. But I do think that if you guys are looking for somebody that is going to hold you accountable, is going to build you a program that is specific for you, understand your nutrition shortcomings. I mean, the amount of information out there in the year 2026 is absolutely unreal. I mean, I talked to a new client today. Shout out to Holly if you ever listen to this, who's just talking to me about how, like, hey, we have all this information, and I've just been so overwhelmed with everything that I read because one person's telling me to do this, another person's telling me to do the opposite, that I end up doing nothing. And the reality is that's a lot of people. The paralysis by analysis is real. So what I've done in my life is I've just looked at the people who are leading lives that I want my life to be like, people that I want mentorship from. I'm seeking coaching from those people. And what I do is I listen to them, and I'm just trying to turn down the noise of everybody else. And I think if you're able to do that, it will be super helpful for you to push past your quitter's day and be able to make sustainable health change for the long haul. So that was a quick hitter here on a random. I think today's Monday. I'm going to probably release this here on National Quitters Day for you guys. Again, find a way to make it happen. Find a way to make it work. And if you need a sustainable health solution, check us out. The Blue Chip Athletic Club app is live. It's been live. I probably talk about it a ton. I feel like I talk about it a ton. Maybe you guys don't know. But we do a free month right now. That will be in the show notes as well. Free month in the app. I don't know if I'm going to do that forever. I think I need to be better personally about having boundaries set for my time, effort, and energy, and the amount that I've put into that. And I think it is worth every penny, every dollar, from the meal planning tools to all the training sessions to the group community calls where we talk through health and wellness concerns. We can do live coaching right there with our community of people. The pilot community, the active duty military community, the busy adults, the former athletes, all the people that are in there training with us. It has just been truly an honor doing that. And I'm excited to continue in 2026, pushing past Quitter's Day for me and continue to deliver you guys a product that I hope helps you in your life. So until next time, you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. We will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.